You know what's crazy? I see so many gorgeous women over 60 sporting bobs that look absolutely fabulous. And then I see others with the exact same haircut who look 10 years older than they actually are. And here's the thing nobody's telling you. It's not the bob itself that's the problem. It's 5 very specific mistakes that transform this timeless cut into something that works against your beauty instead of for it. So stick around because today, we're going to uncover exactly what those mistakes are, and honestly once you see them you won't unsee them. Plus, I'm going to show you the simple fixes that will have you walking out of that salon chair looking like the absolute best version of yourself. Hey gorgeous souls, welcome back to Ageless Beauty. Whether you're joining us for the first time or you've been part of our community for a while now, I'm so happy you're here. This is the space where we celebrate looking absolutely stunning at every single age, without spending our retirement savings to get there. Before we dive into today's video, I want to remind you to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video that's going to make you feel more confident and beautiful. And honestly, if something in this video resonates with you or changes your mind about your next salon visit, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Alright, let's get into it. Here's what I've discovered after years of watching women in our community. The bob is actually one of the most forgiving haircuts out there when it's done right. But when it's done wrong, or when certain elements aren't adjusted properly for our age and face shape, it can actually add years to how we look. And I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying that because knowledge is power, and once you understand what to avoid, you become the person who walks into a salon knowing exactly what you want. Mistake 1. The blunt, heavy bottom line. Our first mistake is something I call the flat line bob. This is when your stylist cuts your bob with a completely straight, blunt edge right at your chin. Now, this might sound odd, but the heavier and more defined that line, the more it can emphasize the jawline and create a sort of hardness that we don't necessarily want as we mature. Here's why this matters for us specifically. As we age, our skin naturally loses a bit of elasticity, and our jawline might not have that same definition it used to have. When you add a blunt horizontal line right there, it can actually highlight areas of the face that we'd prefer to soften. The fix is so simple though. Ask your stylist for what's called a textured or choppy bottom. We're not talking about a shag or anything dramatic here. We're talking about subtle layers that break up that hard line and create movement. This movement catches the light differently, creates dimension, and it actually makes your face look more lifted and refreshed. It's the kind of difference that makes people say you look great without knowing exactly why. If you've ever walked out of a salon and felt like your cut was missing something but you couldn't quite put your finger on it, chances are you might have experienced this very thing. Drop a comment below and tell me. Have you ever asked for layers in your bob before? Mistake 2. The wrong length placement. Okay, so here's something that sounds simple but actually makes a massive difference. The placement of where your bob ends is absolutely crucial. I see a lot of women getting bobs that hit right at the widest part of their face, which is usually around the middle of the jawline. And here's the thing. That's actually the worst place for it to land as we get older. When your bob ends right at that widest point, it emphasizes the width of your face rather than your features. Instead, what we want is for the bob to either graze just below the chin or sit a tiny bit above it. This sounds like a small detail, but it completely changes how the cut frames your face. A bob that ends just below the chin actually creates this beautiful elongating effect that makes your face look a bit more sculpted and refined. And if you have a rounder face shape, this adjustment alone can be transformative. Your stylist should be taking your specific face shape into account, not just following a general template. This is one of those things that once you know it, you'll start noticing it everywhere. I'd love to know, what's your current bob length, and have you ever experimented with adjusting where it falls? Tell me in the comments. Mistake 3. The styling truth nobody mentions. Alright, so here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. You can have the most beautifully cut bob in the world, but if you're not styling it correctly, it's going to look outdated and honestly a bit frumpy. The styling mistake I'm talking about is wearing your bob completely flat and sleek with no volume at the crown. Now, I'm not saying you need to blow dry your hair every single day or spend hours styling. But here's what I am saying. A little bit of volume at the top of your head completely changes how a bob sits on your face and how it makes you look. When your hair is completely flat from crown to ends, it can actually pull your face down and emphasize areas we'd rather not highlight. Adding even just a small amount of lift at the crown opens up your face, makes your features look brighter, and honestly, takes years off how you appear. This doesn't require a lot of effort either. It can be as simple as blow-drying your roots in an upward direction, or using a texturizing spray to add grip and dimension. The beautiful part is that this is something you control at home. A good stylist can cut the bob in a way that makes the styling easier, but ultimately, how you style it is what the world sees. So think of this as your secret weapon for making any bob look more youthful and intentional. Here's my question for you. Do you currently add volume to your hair, or is this something you've never really experimented with? Comment down below and let's chat about it. And if you're finding this video helpful so far, this would be a perfect time to hit that like button. It really does help me create more content like this for you. Mistake 4. Ignoring your hair texture and condition. This one is so important, and it's something that even experienced stylists sometimes overlook. A bob that works beautifully for someone with naturally straight hair might look completely different on someone with waves or curls. And here's what happens. A lot of us get a bob cut based on how it looks in a salon when it's been freshly blow-dried and styled professionally. Then we get home, wash it, and it looks completely different because our natural texture is asserting itself. The mistake is not talking to your stylist about your actual hair texture and how your hair behaves at home. If you have waves or curls, you need a cut that's designed to work with that texture, not against it. This might mean asking for a cut that's slightly shorter on the sides or has more texture built in from the start. It also means being honest about how much time you're willing to spend styling your hair each day. And here's something else that matters as we get older. Our hair can change. We might lose a little thickness, or our texture might shift. So what worked for your bob 5 years ago might need tweaking now. The solution is having a real conversation with your stylist about your hair goals and your actual daily life. Tell them how much time you have, what your hair naturally does, and what texture you're working with. A good stylist will cut accordingly. Mistake 5. Skipping the maintenance appointments. The last mistake is actually one of the most common reasons a beautiful bob starts to look dated and aging. And that mistake is not maintaining your cut with regular appointments. Here's the reality of bobs. They require maintenance. Unlike longer hair where you can go months without a cut and it still looks intentional, a bob is a very specific cut. As your hair grows out, it loses its shape. That perfect line becomes less defined. The layers start to relax, and before you know it, you're walking around with a mullet-adjacent situation. But here's what I'm not saying. I'm not saying you need to go to the salon every 4 weeks. What you need to do is figure out what works for your hair. Some women can go 8 weeks and look great. Others do better at 6. It depends on your hair growth rate and how quickly your cut loses its shape. What matters is committing to that maintenance schedule once you figure out what it is. Because honestly, a well-maintained bob that's 2 months old looks infinitely better than a gorgeous cut that's 4 months overdue. And here's a money-saving tip that fits perfectly with our Ageless Beauty mission. Don't wait until your cut looks completely out of control to book an appointment. Stay ahead of it. A regular trim takes less time and costs less than trying to fix a cut that's gotten too grown out. Plus, your hair will always look its absolute best. Okay, gorgeous, before we wrap this up, I want to ask you something. If you're currently rocking a bob or thinking about getting one, which of these 5 mistakes do you think might be affecting how your cut looks? Drop your answer in the comments below. I genuinely read every single comment, and I love hearing from you. And if this video gave you some helpful insight, please share it with a friend who's been thinking about switching up her hairstyle. Your recommendation means the world to us. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Ageless Beauty, and hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest tips for looking absolutely stunning at every age. Thank you so much for being here with me today. You all are amazing, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay fabulous.